Incoming transmission. Radio Rebellion.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to a special episode of Radio Rebellion, a Star Wars podcast. Before we get into it, I want to take a few minutes and give a belated happy May the 4th be with you to everyone. Happy Star Wars Day, and today, Revenge of the Fifth. Dark Side is always there. You know it, Vader, Revenge of the Fifth. Fifth is for the Sith. I just want to take it a few minutes. I was going to do it on the main show later this week, but just want to take my time and tell everyone thank you for your support this past 3.5 months that the channel has been up. Especially April was a pretty big month for us. Thank you guys for getting me to 100 followers on Twitter, getting the podcast listens up, and the views on YouTube. Also, I couldn't have done it without you, the fans, and also a big shout out to all the other Star Wars podcasters and creators out there that we have everyone's back. It doesn't matter if we have 50 followers or 5,000. Everyone is there for each other, popping everyone up. So thank you guys, as always, for your support, retweeting me and helping me out. Hopefully I'm doing the same for you guys. People sometimes forget that we are fans first and foremost. So thanks to everyone that is always kind of supporting the channel. So with that out of the way, we're here to talk about Clone Wars, victory and death. So let's go ahead and do our final review of the Clone Wars. I say final as this is not just the final episode of Season 7, it's also the series finale and also brings to an end the actual events of the Clone Wars in the Star Wars narrative. So yeah, what a ride it's been this past season, but especially these past 4 episodes, originally known as the Siege of Mandalore. I kind of propose that it gets another name. The Siege of Mandalore was, I think, like a episode and a half. Everything else has Ahsoka, Maul, Rex, Order 66, and everything that came with it. Granted, most everything except for the final couple of minutes of this episode does happen or take place in Mandalore, so it's fine if we still call it the Siege of Mandalore. But if you guys have any cool, interesting name that you want to call this arc, even if it's for your own headcanon, put it down on the comments, send me a message on Twitter, or just post it anywhere and we'll find it. So let's go ahead and get through this. I have my notes here, so we'll see. Let's see how we do it. So, yeah, like I mentioned, some great last 4 episodes. The Siege of Mandalore will go down as one of the best, if not the best, arc in the Clone Wars. I know the Mortis arc is up there for a lot of people. It brought a lot of different story beats to Star Wars and a lot of different things to think about. Same with the Siege of Mandalore. There's so much in this arc, not just building on Ahsoka's arc and Rex and all of that as the new characters that came into the series, but also into the whole Star Wars in general, going so side by side with the events of Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith, and everything that happened there, the way it was melded seamlessly into these final 2 episodes was just an impossible task that the creative team took, and they ran with the ball and scored a touchdown. And that's my only sports analogy. I think I've done my part. Um, so this season, especially these 4 episodes, for me at least, is some of the best music in the whole 7 seasons. What's been 12 years since this started, a couple of years in between where there was a break. But Kevin Kiner outdid himself, and I know that's a lot to say. Some people do believe that the Rebel music hits up there, and I also kind of fall on that kind of bandwagon. If I don't think that's the right term, but you know what I mean. But these past 4 episodes, especially the last 2, the music score has just been on point, emotional, gets you upbeat. It's been everything that you could kind of expect and want from a Star Wars score. So Kevin kind of has nothing to envy any of the other great composers that have worked in Star Wars live action, um, the sagas, and the Star Wars story movies. Kevin Kine is right up there. So keep up the good work, and hopefully we keep seeing more of him, or hearing more of him, I should say. So right, I kind of broke this down into kind of some negatives, positives, um, questions that arose at the end, and then some final thoughts. So quickly on some negatives, and I kind of posted this out yesterday on Twitter. So if you follow me, you might have seen my response to it. So I woke up early, because I had to work that day. So I woke up early on Friday, saw the episode around 6 in the morning. There were some issues that I had with it, and I will discuss those in a minute. I kind of sat with it for a while, then I rewatched the episode during lunchtime, and those issues were still there. They didn't go away, and it kind of detracted a little bit from my enjoyment of the episode. But granted, I was at work, so I wasn't thinking about it all day, so I kind of let it alone, left it alone for a couple of hours, and then I kind of thought about Clone Wars again, and those feelings I had about those issues that I had with the episodes just kind of went away. And I kind of decided, let me just enjoy it for what it was, not kind of think of the negative behind it, just let me enjoy it. And that way, this episode went from good to great. And I think if we see it that way and try not to kind of pinpoint every little thing that we might kind of disagree with, every choice that was made, we would enjoy it a lot more. And I think that's what I did. I did enjoy this episode quite a lot. So the things that I didn't, that I had some issues with, and the first one is a pretty minor one. And I'm gonna kind of be jumping in and out on the order of the episode. So sorry if you were expecting kind of a chronological breakdown, but it's just the way things go. Kind of like this episode, I was expecting some things that didn't go the way I thought. Doesn't matter, you can still enjoy it. So once Rex and Ahsoka are escaping the Star Destroyer, going down, and they're on their Y wing trying to escape. Star Destroyer is breaking in half. Rex is in his Y wing, and Ahsoka is trying to catch up to him. There's thousands of pieces of debris flying by. There's not one that hits Ahsoka or even the Y-wing when Rex is flying. You don't even see them trying to dodge anything. It seemed like a pretty clear path for them, and that kind of detracted a little bit from all the destruction going around them. But that's just a little nick that it really doesn't matter. The big one for me was, and if you heard my past review, especially the last episode, Shattered, I kind of thought that it was a little bit weird knowing what happens in Revenge of the Sith when Order 66 comes and all the Jedi basically are shot down by the clone troopers. There wasn't a lot of fight put up by the Jedi at that point. Granted, most of them were kind of taken by surprise, shot from behind, at least when it started, so they didn't have a chance to kind of react to it. I said that on last episode when Rex walks in with his blasters pointed at Ahsoka, and he does give her a heads up, kind of go find fives. So she knows that something's up. But you have, counting Rex, about 7 different clone troopers just shooting at Ahsoka pretty close range, and nothing hits her. She blocks everything and escapes. I cannot say that, uh, I'm afraid I say kind of twice, at least twice. So again, let me know if I'm saying it too much. It was weird that she escaped that easily. But then at the end of the episode, when they're trying to take the chip out of Rex and the clone troopers are coming through the blast doors, there's, I believe, 2 of them or 3 of them shooting at her, and she does get her lightsaber kind of knocked from her hand, and she starts struggling with those 3 or 4 troopers. So I kind of say, okay, it's out of the way. They basically, the issue I had before, it's gone because it was brought up back, and she's starting to struggle with all the blaster shots. But then in this episode, they went full on 100% more. So I counted when they're in the hangar bay trying to escape, and Jesse gets there with all the troopers. They have around 100 clone troopers. And I know that droids help with the lifts going up and down, but there's a point that between 50 to 70 troopers are shooting at the 2 of them full on, no stop for 5-10 minutes, and they don't get a single shot in or on Rex or Ahsoka. So for me, that was a bit too much at that point. I thought they were making her too powerful to be able to deflect every blaster bolt at that point. So that was my big kind of issue with it. I kind of, is she really this? Can any Jedi kind of basically deflect those many blaster bolts? And a clone trooper just stunning the other clones, is that enough to kind of survive this? So it was kind of off-putting. And at the same point, I say, if I'm going to be this critical of Ahsoka's power, I should do the same for Maul. We all love Maul in Shattered, and that hallway scene, I still stand by saying that for me, it was more not nerve-wracking or more impactful. It was scarier, if that's the word, than the Darth Vader Rogue One scene, which, grant again, this goes way up high and as one of the best scenes in Star Wars. So it's a lot to say that, and I can take if anyone has a different view on it. But the way that Maul went into the hyperdrive chamber, I guess, and then just using the Force brought down the hyperdrive, I think that's a little bit too much for him. Also, the way he's been portrayed, ripping things like that out of the walls, it's something we see in Star Wars, but not to that effect. We've seen in Attack of the Clones, we saw Count Dooku kind of bring down the ceiling on Yoda. He does it again on Revenge of the Sith to bring down those steps on Obi-Wan. And of course, in Empire Strikes Back, Darth Vader throwing some pieces of the wall to Luke, but nothing to this effect. At least I don't remember. There's so much Star Wars around that I don't have everything inside this brain. But at the same way, I'm saying that Ahsoka was portrayed too powerful in that episode, especially in that scene. I should say the same about Maul. So I watched it again that second time, still have the same issues, but then like I mentioned, stopped thinking about it, came back to it a couple of hours later. That was gone. I said, you know what? Let me just enjoy this for what it is, not think about power levels and checking off, as other people say, kind of PowerPoints and how strong in the force they are. Mark this, did they power up or level up or whatever. Let me just enjoy this for what it is and enjoy all the visuals and what they're showing. And at that point, forget any issues I have with it. It's just incredible visuals, incredibly impactful and satisfying seeing a Jedi with her clone brother at that point. They've known each other forever, doing everything they can to survive, protecting each other and saving each other. If you see it through those eyes and through those lenses, it really doesn't matter if there were 5 clone troopers or 100. It was just great storytelling at that point. Same with Maul. We know we can always say, oh, he tapped into the dark side a little bit more and kind of got that power in the force to bring down the hyperdrive. So with those two things out of the way, again, this episode went from a pretty good finale to a pretty awesome, pretty great finale. Not just season finale, but series finale. And yeah, those were my only two negatives. The one I just talked about, the debris at the end, but forget it. It was a great episode. So, like I mentioned, things not working out as expected or as I thought was going to happen. And I'll go back to this. I've talked about it a couple of times that I expected. And again, that falls on me hoping on something. But I'm not going to say that I know the characters better than the creators themselves. But I always wanted to have that emotional scene. And we had a little bit in this episode, but more of a moral impact on Rex having to decide, am I going to kill, I know Ahsoka said stun, but he was ready to kill them, to kill his clone troopers, his clone brothers, as he said, to protect this Jedi, which again is not just a Jedi, it's Ahsoka. But I wanted to see a little bit more of that debate going on. Can I really shoot down my brothers? Can I try to convince them that Order 66 is wrong, and then whatever, if he can convince one or two, or all of them say no, Order 66 is the way to go, like Jesse says at the end, and I was cool with it. I just didn't get that. We did get, and I'll talk about it a little bit more about when things that I did like and enjoy. When Rex basically tells Ahsoka that those troopers down there, my brothers, they don't think it that they don't think about it that way. They're gonna kill us. They're gonna shoot us. And she takes his helmet off, and you can see that fear and the struggle in his face. So we did get that part. It was great to see that from Rex. You know, Rex is my boy, is my favorite clone trooper since the Karen Travis novel came out, and I've always loved Rex, so that's why I wanted that from him. And I'm good that at least we got this part that I just kind of explained a little bit. All right, so great designs. We've been talking about this since the first episode. The animation, the designs in Clone Wars Season 7 is just top notch. I want to go back and rewatch Rebels just because of what happened in Clone Wars. But I think it's going to be a drop and get used to that Rebel look after seeing this Season 7, because this is some of the most gorgeous Star Wars that you can ever see. Excuse me. Live action or animation is just great. So in this episode, again, the end, seeing the stormtroopers and the snowtroopers using the visuals from Season 7, It's just top notch. It's just great. Clone Troopers, I think I've said before, was one of my favorite designs for years and years on end. If you see my collection, that at some point I'll show you guys, it's not whole room, but it's got a lot. Most of the stuff are Stormtroopers and Boba Fett. The Stormtrooper design has always been one of my favorites, and seeing them again kind of brings you not just the look of it, but also the era of Star Wars that you are. We're done with the Clone Wars, we're done with the prequel era. Now we're in original trilogy, Galactic Empire, Stormtroopers, Snow Troopers, and of course, I'm not gonna wait till the end. Darth Vader walking in, the cape flowing with a bit of snow on the boots on the cape, and then the whole look of Darth Vader is just, yeah. I know I just said that Maul's Rogue One scene was pretty epic. I mean, Maul's hallway scene here was pretty epic in the last episode. But this Darth Vader design, if you see that same Rogue One scene here in Clone Wars, maybe I changed my mind. So Darth Vader always a great design, and it just looked great with the snow falling and the black with the white background and the black. Everything of Darth Vader is just a great contrast. And of course, when Darth Maul does break down the hyperdrive and the Star Destroyer comes out of hyperspace, that look of ships always coming out of hyperspace, all broken, debris and smoke everywhere is just a great design. I love seeing that. I can watch it all day. Right, so positives. There's a lot of positives. We can stay here for 30 more minutes. You want to? I want to, but I don't think I can. Great action throughout the episode. So we had Phantom Apprentice, which was probably one of my favorite episodes with great action there. A slower episode with Shattered, and then Victory and Death. We have a combination of both, but all the action was great. Seeing Ahsoka and Rex battle their way out of the little med bay, and then all the way down to the hangar bay, trying to escape, and then the fall of the Star Destroyer, trying to get into the Y wing. Just great action everywhere, all through it. I'm sure a lot of people caught it. Maul had a comlink on his arm brace, which this is the one from that clone trooper that lost his arm on the blaster door on the previous episode. I guess he had an idea. He didn't take his head. He took his arm because he wanted that arm brace. He wanted the comlink to see what was going on with the troopers and where he could try to do his escape. It's like a pretty good kind of follow through from the previous episode. The hangar battle scene, as I mentioned, it was great once I got past my initial issue with it. If you just see it as an action scene in Star Wars, it's just perfect. Seeing all those 100 troopers, either the regular white troopers or with the blue or with Ahsoka's marking still on their helmet, plus Jesse's special helmet, seeing them all line up, looking up at Ahsoka and Rex is a great design. And then, of course, the battle with the droids bringing the leaves up and down is something different, which kind of kept the story moving. It's not just a bunch of people shooting at each other. There was some strategy behind it. And then here we got to go to one of the best lines in the episode. And if you want to go into great Star Wars line for Jedi, what a Jedi should be, and I'm kind of paraphrasing a little bit, is when her line of saying to Rex, of not killing the Jedi, of not killing the clones. Basically, if they want to kill us, I'm not going to be the one that's going to kill them. So that's 100% Jedi, right? We're keepers of the peace, not soldiers. So something that she said in the previous in this episode, I believe, not the previous one, she said in Shattered, we're keepers of the peace, not soldiers. We weren't meant for this war. We weren't supposed to be generals in a war. We're here to protect and serve. That's what a Jedi is. So here we have Ahsoka around the same time that Anakin is killing younglings because someone told him he has to. Ahsoka saying, no, I know they're trying to kill me. This is not their design. This is because they have this inhibitor chip. They were giving an order that they can't control themselves. They're coming to kill us. I'm not going to kill them. You're going to stun them. I'm going to do my best just to kind of protect us. I'm not the one that's going to kill them. And that's why Ahsoka is a Jedi through and through. Even if she's not officially a Jedi, she still follows all the Jedi teachings. And again, if you go to one of my previous episodes when I talked about great Jedi and when I don't believe in great Jedi, this is another reason why I don't think Ahsoka falls into that category. She still follows the teachings of the Jedi. If she was a great Jedi and she's in this position of getting killed, and the only way she can survive is by killing all the clone troopers that she trusted her life with for years and years, then she would do that. But by not doing it and by saying, I'm not going to be the one to kill them, she's still on that straight and narrow light path that a Jedi is always in, and kind of brings her up a little bit in my book as one of the better Jedi in following these teachings. So good for you, Ahsoka. Hangar battle sequence, we already talked about it, was great. How can you not like Ahsoka using her double blades to cut that circle on the floor and just drop down? Come on, that's a top 10 Clone Wars sequence right there, something we've never seen. And the way she did it pretty quickly, kind of just, whoop, let's get out of here. Pretty cool. Um, And this is another scene when I kind of thought that her powers were a little bit too much, but also if you analyze a little bit more, it really wasn't. Is when Maul is trying to escape in the shuttle that she kind of saw at the beginning, and then using the force to stop the shuttle mid escape, which of course kind of ties right into Rise of Skywalker and Rey doing the same thing with the shuttle that she thought had Chewie on it, and then Kylo Ren on the other end pulling it toward his side. So I kind of say, really, we're on this again because we really haven't seen this. The only time we've seen this in canon is in Rise of Skywalker. So now Ahsoka's doing it, but it wasn't the same, and it wasn't her kind of being too powerful. This was a one-person shuttle, which was pretty small, and she's losing the fight against the shuttle. She's being dragged. She's not letting go, but she's being dragged. And eventually, when Maul kind of pushes the throttle, he's gonna go. She's gonna lose grip. So it wasn't that bad in that sense that I kind of mentioned. But again, it goes to Ahsoka being the Jedi that she is and saying, I'm going to let Maul escape, even though I really don't want him to escape. She tried killing him right before. But I have to let Maul escape, and our only means of escape to get out of this also, because I have to save Rex. Rex was getting overpowered. She knew if she let Maul go, they didn't have a way to escape. So she might die. But before dying, she's gonna do everything she can to save Rex. So again, great judgment by her, great Jedi decision, and that's something I think I haven't heard too much about it. I think people are just gonna gloss over it. But just a look on her face, kind of closing her eyes and letting the force go and letting Maul go to save Rex is another kind of notch on her belt as a great character. Droids. They did their best. They tried saving the day. But at the end, R7, Cheap, and Gigi made their end when Jesse was kind of over it. It's destroyed those droids. We're not doing anything. We won't be able to get to them with the droids kind of in the way. So it was sad. It was really sad to see the droids go, especially R7. I know a lot of people, I kind of forget everything that's happened in the Clone Wars, but people have brought up that R7 was Ahsoka's droids. So of course, it's very sad to see them go. But at the same time, if you see it from the clone's point of view, it's kind of, yeah, finally, get those droids. If you think they're just mindless droids, you're not going to get too far. So yeah, it was sad to see them just blasted. And that kind of brings us to the end of the episode. They escape. They were able to get that Y-wing, get down to that moon, which I tried finding out what it was, but we don't know yet. And then we see Ahsoka basically rocking her rebels look with the hood up, kind of white, kind of Gandalf the white, Gandalf the gray at that point because it was a bit nasty. But it's a great look on her and kind of brings you to the Ahsoka we're gonna meet in Rebels. And of course, taking her time to bury the bodies and do that helmet kind of monument she did with other clones. I think there's about 20. I really didn't count, but just kind of glancing. And of course, the final one with Jesse's helmet kind of propped up, again, telling you that it doesn't matter that 5 minutes before he was shooting and was trying to kill us. I'm going to take my time to get as many bodies as I can, bury them, put their helmets up, especially you, Jesse, who were leading this when Rex tried saving us, when he's kind of, no, she's not a Jedi. Order 66 was just to kill Jedi. And Jesse goes, well, Rex, you told us that this order came from Sidious himself to kill Ahsoka Tano. So you're a traitor, she's a traitor, everyone is going to die. To then 5, 10 minutes later, no, I'm going to bury you and I'm going to do it. Put your helmet up and take a couple of minutes to think about you guys. So again, great ending in that sense. Um, and then of course we have the convoy Moriah. I don't know how to spell this or say it. I should say the convoy flying on top when Vader gets there. If you follow Clone Wars and you're deep in the lore, you know this connects back to the Mortis arc and the sister, and sister kind of passing her life essence to Ahsoka to save her. And we know in Rebels that convoy is pretty prominent also. So it's cool to see her here. I don't know all the backstories on that convoy and why are they always showing up around Ahsoka. I know also in Rebels it happens a lot. So if you guys know a little bit more about it, let me know. So questions that this raised. So we know in Rebels, Ahsoka and Rex have been separated for quite a while because when they have that reunion, it's a very heartfelt reunion. They haven't seen each other in years. So I thought we were gonna see them kind of go their separate ways, but we didn't. They were still together, and we don't know if they separated at this point or is it later because there's only one ship. They're trying to fix it. I don't know if she found another TIE fighter or something, old X-Wing, Y-Wing, not X-Wing, not yet, TIE fighter or something in the destroyer that fell, but I don't know how she could have escaped from that moon without the Y-Wing that Rex was fixing. So I think this is a new story that doesn't need to be told, but it's out there to be told if someone wants to. So this could be a novel, could be a comic, can be a new TV series. We know they're trying to do more animated shows, so who knows if we get more Ahsoka and Rex adventures together, either TV, books, comics, or maybe not. Maybe just out there in the open for us to kind of figure out, which I know is what Dave Filoni likes to do and what a lot of Star Wars fans want. So let me know what you guys think. Should we kind of find out how they got separated and then reunited in Rebels, or just leave the mystery? We also see Darth Vader coming in at the end, standing in front of the fallen Star Destroyer. We see all the snow covering everything. We see the bodies and the all kind of covered with the snow, and then he bends down and picks the lightsaber from the snow. What did you guys think about this scene? I've seen a few people saying that he kind of remorseful at this point of it, the choices he just made of killing younglings and going to the dark side. For me, especially when he turns the lightsaber on and kind of looks at it for a minute, for me, it was just she was here and that's it. Do I need to go find her? Is she still around? I didn't see him as him kind of rethinking his life choices. But again, it might be a little bit more deeper than what I think. But I think he just found the lightsabers, kind of had a quick moment of, yeah, this was Ahsoka's, this was my Padawan. I did change the blade colors for her. So who knows? Again, one of those mysteries that we might never know. And my final question for here at the end is, how long after episode 3 is this final scene in the Clone Wars? Because if you've read Charles Soule Darth Vader comic, this last one or previous one from last year, I think it's 25 comics, 25 issues. They start right when Anakin gets his Darth Vader outfit, basically. And from then on, the Emperor sends him to find Jedi, missing Jedi, lost Jedi. And I don't remember at any point there's no moon or no planet coming into play. So I don't know if it's somewhere in between that wasn't shown on the comics, or if these years after that this happens that they're kind of find everything. I want to say it's pretty close because I don't know why they would wait years for them to go and find what happened on this moon. So I'm guessing it's pretty close to it. But I don't know. It's something new in canon that we haven't really experienced, kind of that scene or this planet. So I don't know if you guys have a little bit more information. I know some people are saying that this might be months or years after because of all the snow and the Star Destroyer being covered in snow. But her lightsaber wasn't that deep. He just found it. If he would have just sensed it and used the force to bring it out of the snow, then I would kind of be on your side and saying, yeah, this is years after. But I think it's a couple of days only. And I might be wrong, but I think it's a couple of days. Who knows? Maybe this planet is never snowing. It just started snowing 6 months afterwards. But again, it doesn't fall in continuity-wise with where this Darth Vader comic kind of goes straight from episode 3. So I would love to know when this happened. So that's basically our breakdown and review of Victory and Death, the final episode in the Clone Wars TV series, and what a run they had. not just this past season, which was kind of came out of nowhere. Last year was kind of it was mentioned that Clone Wars was coming back on Disney Plus. We all got extremely excited, and we saw it come back, and it came in with a bang, left with a bang, more than we could have hoped for. But again, this show kind of got canceled after season 5. I mean, before that, it was in Cartoon Network. Yeah, canceled season 5, went to Netflix. It got picked up. Everyone started watching it again. Then we got season 6, the last episodes. Then it stopped for, I don't know, 6 years, 5 years since the last episode came in. And then to come back, thanks to you guys, the fans, season 7 kind of finished that the Bad Batch arc that everyone was ready to kind of sink their teeth into it. Then we have the Ahsoka arc that I know threw a lot of people off, but we talked here in length why that arc was important for building Ahsoka up to what happened then in these final 4 episodes, the Siege of Mandalore, which again are probably the best episodes out there. I know everyone, if they haven't done it yet, they're watching all those 4 episodes back to back to back to back as a movie. There's a petition going to release this as a movie. So yeah, it's a great run, great series. Glad that we had the Clone Wars just for all the new characters that we were introduced to, plus all the building that they did for Obi-Wan and Anakin, especially because we didn't get a lot of it in the movies, unfortunately. But they did it here in the Clone Wars. So Dave Filoni, Lucasfilm, everyone over there, all the directing team, music, animators, everyone, thank you. Tipping my hat to you guys. You did a great job. So with that said, I'm gonna be saying goodbye to you guys. Don't forget, if you're watching this on YouTube, like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think of the Clone Wars, not just this episode, but the whole season. If you're listening on the podcast, make sure to leave a review, rate, review, send me a message on Twitter at Radio Rebel Pod, and tune in later this week when we do our full official show. So thank you guys. Stay safe, be safe, and may the force be with you.